Hello, hello, and happy Saturday! Good morning, soul! How are you? How are you? I hope you're doing well to start off your Saturday. Let's see, I was so enraptured by this Christian lo-fi that I was singing along as best I could because, as is true with a lot of lo-fi music, sometimes the melody gets broken up in places we're not used to. And so I'm like trying to sing along and worship, and then it breaks it up with the melody a little bit, and I'm like, wait, what? Okay, we're good. I've got this. All right, we're in the rhythm. Next thing I know, my timer's at 0. Good morning, Weber Wolf. How are you? How are you? I hope you're doing well and enjoying hopefully a day off of school. What is everybody up to? What does everybody have planned for the weekend? Yesterday, oh my gosh, you guys, it was amazing. So, started off, went down, or actually, did I get out of my PJs first, or did I just go down and get breakfast? I think I just went down and got breakfast. Went down, got breakfast, came back up, spent an hour in the Word, an hour in prayer. Well, not an hour in prayer, but about 50 minutes in the Word, 10 minutes in prayer. And it was amazing. It was amazing how that mindset shift happened. I noticed that even through the hustle and bustle of the day, there was peace. I was able to just kind of breathe. Because we got new phones, and it was one of those that we had to go get those all set up. After that, I came home, grabbed a bite to eat, came home, ate, because we just drove through the drive-thru, so of course had to eat at the house, and then got a haircut, and I went and checked on my friend's cat, and then just spent the evening chilling at home, watching an awesome stream. But starting that day off in the Word, I've been really trying to be intentional as best I can about starting the day off, whether in Christian lo-fi, reading the Word, or both. I've been really trying to be intentional, and it's been really, really beneficial. You're getting properly caffeinated, and Evie keeps trying to stick her face in it. Evie, listen to your cat godmother. You do not need the caffeine. You have enough energy. You have enough energy as is. You do not need to be properly caffeinated, my little fur godchild. I'm doing well. It's been really, really good. Really good lately. Just getting ready to go home for fall break. How far of a drive is it home? Maybe going to the library sometime this weekend, but even if you don't, still looking forward to your church's ministry event for the motorcycle ministry. I love it! I am so glad that your church does that. Like, seriously, that is amazing. I'm going to try a little bit softer of a light. Let's see. How does that look, you guys? Does it still look bright? But without me being as, like, glowy? I did my morning face routine, and so, yeah. Got an hour 45. Okay, nice. When I went to college, I lived about... Let's see. Let me pull it up here. Because I knew it was at least 6 hours. Let's see. From there to there. 6 hours and 44 minutes. So between about 6 3/4 hours to 7 hours, depending on the route that I take. depends on if I were to go through a different, like if I were, depends on which freeway I took, essentially. Let's see. I wonder, is the airport I used still in... Okay, it is still in service. Okay, it is still in service. Well, cool. I was wondering because it didn't give me that particular airport. It gave me the airport about maybe 45 minutes to an hour north. Oh, you don't have a car, so your mom has to pick you up. Gotcha. Gotcha. That makes sense. Depending on how long of a break I had, I could fly or I could drive. I had the option of both. Typically, if it was a longer break, I would drive. If it was a shorter break, I would fly. Depending on if I had like a few days to like if I had about a week or more, I would drive. Any shorter than that, I flew. It's really cool how your pastor has his interest in, or took his interest in motorcycles and turned it into a ministry doing prayer rides and such. Your dad and you have ran into some of them getting brunch after church. It's an awesome group. Thank you for the lurk, Galaxy. You're on the right side of town for it too, for sure. Like, dude, there are so many bikers over on that side of town. And it's amazing. Although I will say, do all of your biker friends dress for the bike ride? Do they like have protective gear? Because I was driving home, I think the other day, and I saw this guy on the motorcycle, and I don't remember if he was wearing a helmet. I don't think he was. And he was wearing short sleeves, which in a way makes sense considering how hot it's been, but still. And I don't remember how long of pants, but like all I could think was, dude, Lord help you if you fall. Because you're not ready for that fall. Oh good, I'm glad. Sorry guys. Strawberry lemonade flavored water, only 5 calories. It's the quenchiest. Those of you who know that quote. Oh man, you guys, it has been such a good week. But I'm glad that the bikers dress ready for anything, because there are so many that don't. And it always makes me a little sad when they don't, because I'm like, think of your family. Think of like, most of them wear short sleeves though. This is the desert. That is true. That is true. And as much as I understand that, there is a part of me that's like, but think about the asphalt, you know? Like, that asphalt is gonna be hot. And like, I'm not trying to come across judgy. I promise I'm not. This is coming from a place of concern, because motorcycles tend to get in the most accidents because they're smaller, less able to be seen, and drivers just are not paying attention, especially in our town. And all I can think when I see short sleeves is, what if they have an accident? And I'm like, I understand it's the desert, but please protect yourself. You know? Like, it's more from a place of concern of, I just want you to get home safely. I want you to get home in one piece. I want you to get home without injury. And wearing a helmet, wearing, longer sleeves, even though it's really, really hot. Like, I love my friends that ride bicycles. I have a friend at church who rides a motorcycle. That is true. That is true. The short sleeves versus lack of helmet is easier to forgive and be understanding of. Yeah, that is a fair point there, Soul. Because I'm like, I look and I see no helmet and I'm going, protect the brain. Protect the brain. Short sleeves, I'm going, dude, you're gonna, like, get all cut up. But most of the time, it is easier to recover from arm injuries versus brain injuries. That is true. Like 90% of cases, it's easier to recover from oh, I scraped my arm up pretty well, or I broke a bone. That kind of a thing versus TBI. So, yeah, that is true. That is a very good point, Soul. So, please, no, I'm not trying to judge. I'm just like, voicing my thoughts and my concern because I love my biker friends and I just want them to be safe. But I'm so glad that he took that interest. And you know what? That, very much like singles in the church, that is a very, very underserved group. You've seen far too many bikers without helmets around there. None of them appear to be from your church group, though. Oh, good, yeah. Not wearing a helmet, I just don't understand that. But I'm also like, can I try and put myself in their shoes? You know what I mean? Hello there, Waves Gabe. Welcome in. I love seeing a first-time chatter. I'm Donna. I'm a Christian family-friendly variety streamer. This month we are playing some spookier games because it is Spooktober. I have made a change in the lineup, though. We are not going to be playing BioShock, at least for the foreseeable future. Just wasn't really feeling it. The more I played, the more I was like, okay, I'm not so sure I'm enjoying this. I'm feeling myself getting frustrated and trying to find where everything is. So we're switching out BioShock and we're going to make Hogwarts Legacy our Tuesday game. We are still going to be playing some Collar X Malice. And so you'll still get that. You will still get that spooky mystery game. And so I'm excited for it. I am so excited to be able to play it with you guys. It's going to be amazing. And speaking of, Soul sent me some amazing, amazing pictures of her coffee mug this morning. And it is Collar X Malice themed. So you got Enomoto right there with the red hair. And I think, is that? Yes, I believe that is. Or is that Best Boy? Pretty sure that's Best Boy. No, Best Boy's over on the other side. But yeah, you've got all the gang right there. And then you got Ichika and some of the other amazing characters. Exactly. So I absolutely love that mug. Like, that is one of the best mugs I've ever seen. And then sent me this. And it has a little pin in it. And I think that is so cute. I love it. Hold on, I need to respond to this real quick. There we go. Had to respond. It's a replica of the poison collar. That's right. It's the necklace. That's right. Hold on, guys. My nose is going a little tiny bit today because I gotta dust my room. Okay, there we go. You guys didn't need to hear that. A lot of people in the ministry have vests with the ministry logo on it, so it's pretty easy to recognize them. I love that! So, you guys, I totally agree that biker ministries, singles ministries, those are so few and far between in the church. You've got churches that are geared for gamers. You've got churches that are geared for a bunch of other different interests. And ministries geared for a bunch of other interests. But those are two things that are just so underserved in the church. Like, I don't know of any other church that has a ministry for bikers. And that is amazing to me. That's something that they have. I love it. There's another necklace that you've been trying to track down from the fan disc. No luck with that yet, but that's how you stumbled across the mug. Nice! I hope you find the one that you're looking for. Like, that would be so cool. So cool. But yes, Waves Gabe, tell me, how did you find the channel? And what are some of your favorite games? I remember when I was in youth group, so probably around middle school, we had one of the original Xboxes. Or maybe it was an Xbox 360, but I want to say it was an OG Xbox. And somebody brought that to church and put it in the youth group room. And we would sneak into church early and play some Halo before Sunday school. And then one of the parents found out what we were doing and told the youth pastor, and the youth pastor was like, hey guys, we kind of need to get rid of the Xbox because it's becoming a distraction. So maybe we need to get rid of it. And we were like, oh man. But he was as much of a gamer as us. And so he was just kind of like, it was one of those things he was like, hey, I get it. You guys love the games. This is a huge draw for you guys. But we're at church. We gotta, like, make sure that we're playing church-appropriate games at church. You know what I mean? And making sure that it's not a distraction while we're at church. You suppose once you finish your SolidWorks class, you could design the model of said necklace, but honestly, you'd rather have the official one. And that makes sense. Because the official one, it just feels different. But at the same time, I think that would be kind of cool to be able to say, hey, I made this. You know? Like, I think there would be something that would be something you could also take pride in. Just as much as finding the official one. Right? The Bible is Funny comes to mind. Yes! I love that game. And I love Cards Christians Like. I need to find my copy of Holy Guacamole. I found the expansion pack I had. But I need to go digging through those totes there again, apparently. Because I thought I knew where it was from when I brought it with me on my trip to visit my sister and brother-in-law. But apparently not, because I was trying to put all my games in one area, like in a few totes. But I couldn't find Holy Guacamole, and that makes me so sad. Designing the model is one thing, metalworking is another. That's fair. That is fair. You think you found the channel through various people giving shoutouts. You enjoy a lot of cozy and puzzle games. Nice, Gabe! I love that. Cozy games and puzzle games are amazing. I love those. One of the games we were playing through last month is kind of a mixture of the two. It's a very cozy game, and it has a rhythm aspect to it. It's called Jack Jean, and it has it's about a girl going to a drama school and learning how to sing and act and dance and everything. And so there's some rhythm game aspects to it. So it's kind of Japanese visual novel meets Guitar Hero. And I love it. And we like to play cozy games around here. So Tuesday nights, Hogwarts Legacy, that's going to be cozy games. That's going to be our cozy game. This one is a little less family friendly. This one is probably more PG-13, if not a little bit higher. But probably more PG-13. Would you agree there, Soul? So a little bit less cozy, more mystery. And so I'm excited for it. It's a fun one for Spooktober. And then after Spooktober, we're going to dive into a couple of my nose is going to drive me nuts today. We're going to dive into a couple of MMOs, Guild Wars 2, and then Pantheon. And then when we get back in January, at the beginning of the year, I'm thinking we're going to play some card game shop simulator. And that's a lot of what we play here these days, is a lot of the simulator games. So we've had Shopkeeper Simulator, we've had House Flipper, we've had Power Wash Simulator, which I need to get back into at some point, Car Mechanic Simulator, The Sims. We've had all kinds of games. Yeah, very much a PG-13. It's pretty cozy minus all the murder, right? Right? But that's why we're doing it for Spooktober. Because Spooktober is the perfect time of year for those kinds of games. So, it's exciting. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to dive in, we're going to pray. If you have any prayer requests, please feel free to drop them below in chat. And I will look up partway through the prayer and make sure to pray over them. And then we'll dive into the game. Dear Lord, thank you so much for today. Thank you for who you are, for your love, your mercy, and your kindness, and for your justice and your mercy, Lord. Thank you for sending your Son to die on the cross for our sins and rise again so that we can be with you forever. I pray over each and every person here that you just be with them in a way that is unique to them, Lord, in a way that they can look at and say, that's you, Lord. I ask that you just be with each and every one of us and keep us close to you. I pray over Soul that you help her with her SolidWorks class. Thank you so much for helping her through that midterm and that she was able to finish it up early. I thank you, Lord, that you were able to clear her mind enough that she was able to work her way through it. I pray for her dad, that you continue to heal him. I pray for their relationship as father and daughter, Lord, that you build better communication there, that you build better respect for boundaries, Lord. I ask that you be with her as she drives during the week, that you lessen that driving anxiety and get her to the point where driving is at least tolerable, and help her to not feel as much on edge while driving, and just give her confidence. I ask that you be with STL as he unpacks from moving, Lord. Just give him that motivation. Be with his headaches and lessen the severity of them. Let the Botox injections work. Let his mental health be improved. Be with bearded Beowulf. Thank you for ridding him of his headache yesterday, Lord. I ask that you help him to just be a light and keep him close to you. Be with Legend of Zyro as he and his family are going through a season of transition, Lord. I ask that you just be with them and thank you for the miracles you are working in their lives, Lord. Be with DLC and help us to know when it's the right time to come back and how you want us to come back, Lord. Be with Kishu and Shopkeep on their anniversary, Lord. Give them the best anniversary ever and just keep them strong and close to you, Lord. Be with Kishu's Unspokens and let those be answered according to your will. Be with his little kitty and help her with all of the stuff that's stressing her out, Lord. Be with the court situation. Be with her mom. I ask that you be with lady foes and adiphoes and sweet little baby foes. Let baby foes grow big and strong and healthy and strong. Let the delivery go smoothly. And thank you so much for the smooth delivery of baby E to a family at my church, Lord. I thank you so much for that. I ask that you be with both mom and baby and let everything healing and recovery from the birthwise go well. Thank you for being in the operating room for my pastor's surgery as well, Lord. That it went well, and I pray that he recovers quickly. I pray for those affected by the hurricanes on the East Coast. Let recovery efforts be underway. Let them go quickly as possible and smoothly as possible, Lord. I pray for Phelan and his headaches. I pray for Dreamer as he's trying to find a job. Be with Hylian Hufflepuff as he's trying to lean on you and find a job at the same time. Lord, I just pray for those who don't know you, that you put people in their lives to bring them to you, Lord. I ask that you be with Tie-Dye Chef Dave and everything going on in his life. Be with Lotu and her family as they're going through a transition, Lord. Help her voice to recover. Lord, I just pray for anybody here who is struggling physically, whether illness or injury. I pray for anybody suffering mental health-wise, that you just be with them. Let us have a fun time today, Lord. And in your name I pray. Amen. All right, we're gonna bring up the game. Oh, man. Alright, we're gonna update our software, apparently. Good thing I saved. Actually, you know what? We're gonna cancel and do it later. We'll do that. We'll do that later. We're just gonna start it, because I want to make sure we're good. There we go. Switching to the game screen. There we go. Enomoto's route is certainly the most relaxed among them, with cozy moments. Enomoto is such a lovable dork, but there is still a crime to solve. That is so true. That is so true. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm like, change the category. Alright, you guys, we are all set. Let's go ahead and that thought made my hands tremble. I can't think that way. They could suspect that something's happened. I need to act normal. I just have to do what I always do. Yeah, that is true. A much different experience than playing BioShock, for sure. Just as I psyched myself up, I suddenly remembered that voice.
大丈夫だ。 絶対に助ける。
Best boy! It'll be all right, he said. His strong voice repeated in my head. Right. He's Ig Yanagi, a former cop. I should verify his story. I turned on the monitor to my PC and clicked the icon to access the database restricted to police personnel. Detailed information will be classified, but I can find out where he was assigned. I selected the search field and typed in Yanagi Ig and... What? I turned around in a panic. Sayaki was standing right there. Sayaki! I quickly moved my mouse and frantically closed the search page. You're still at work?
なんだよ、いたらいけないのか？さっき通報があってさ、俺はそっちに駆り出されてたんだよ。
That's right. I remember that Mochida mentioned that.
おかげで新しく報告書を書かなきゃでさ、こんな時間まで残業してたってわけ。
Really? Long day, huh?
っていうか、お前こそまだいたんだな。もうとっくに上がったと思ってたけど。
I got caught up in something too, but it wasn't anything of import. I need to write a report on what happened, so I came back to the station.
お互い災難だな。なんか今日はやたらと通報あったし。と、邪魔して悪い。お前の姿が見えたからつい声かけちゃってさ。
You aren't bothering me at all. You actually cheered me up a bit. Mochida, Sayaki, they're the same constant, reliable people that they've always been. Now that I'm in this crazy situation, I'm especially glad that these two are always there for me.
なんだよ、嬉しいこと言ってくれるじゃん。でもさ、お前は女だし、残業が辛かったら持田さんに直訴した方がいいぞ。
No, I don't think I need to.
言ってみるだけただだろ。持田さん、ああ見えて頼りになるしさ。それに、お前かなり疲れてるみたいだし。
え？
同期の目をごまかせると思うなよ。さては、夕飯食ってないな。
I had a light meal.
じゃあ足りなかったんだ。激務をこなすためには体が資本だぞ。食えるときにちゃんと食っておかないと。
Sayaki, I'm not a pig like you.
俺ほどってなんだよ、失礼なやつだな。俺そんなに太ってないだろ。
Sayaki appraised his belly fat level while grousing at me.
笑うなよな。仕事上どうしても生活不規則になるだろ。これでも体重とか結構気にしてんだから。
Sure, sure. And when you get fat, I'll be a good friend and let you know.
お前が太った時もズバリ言うからな。覚悟しとけよ。
After leveling that parting shot, Sayaki jogged off. I could still laugh while talking to Sayaki. Classmates' bonds are powerful. Nothing had changed, but I felt like I could at least look ahead now. Oh, have a good time watching the Alabama game, Dusty. Roll Tide! Roll Tide! And will do. I turned back to my workstation and entered Yanagi Ig once again. There he is. He apparently started in a local jurisdiction and was assigned to Headquarters Investigation Section 1 4 years ago. So he did work in Investigation Section 1. But He quit the force this year. He's 28. He should have had a long career ahead. None of the available information on him indicated that that any problems had come up. He seemed like the most collected of the three, like someone you could count on. Frankly speaking, I didn't want to believe he was involved in anything related to X-Day. But all the X-Day incidents so far had been large events using video sharing sites. You love Ichika. She's got her own personality, and while she's a new officer, she's competent and works hard to improve. I completely agree. Her sense of humor with Sayaki in that moment was amazing. Calling him out on having a hollow leg, basically. And then just the fact that they have that rapport. You know what I mean? I don't know many people who would have that rapport. Especially amongst, like, I could see a couple of females having that rapport, but not, like, male and female. Like, to me, there's, like, that different dynamic between when two girls are talking about their eating habits versus when a guy calls a girl out on her eating habits. But if you know that each other well enough to know that you're joking and just, taking wisecracks at each other, I guess that does make a huge difference. And you're right, she is always looking at how she can improve. She's competent, like she was wise enough to know, okay, I need to just roll with the punches in this situation. And she's, that's why she goes to the range every day, is to improve her skills. She's constantly looking at how can I improve as an officer and better serve my community. And I love that. Exactly. They know each other well enough to know they're both joking. And I love that. Like, that kind of rapport is hard to find. That kind of rapport can be very, very hard to find. Would they give advance notice to specific people? I still don't know why they targeted me, so Sasazuka's suspicions about me aren't baseless. There was just too much I didn't know. There's only so much I can learn on my own. I need to talk to Yanagi and the others. I didn't know when Yanagi's group would get me, so I texted my little brother to say I might have to stay at the station overnight. After I turned my report in to Mochida, I began drowsily nodding off at my desk.
お迎えに上がりました。囚われのお姫様。いや、眠そうだから眠り姫かな。
Huh? I looked in the direction of the voice and gazed upon a man in a white coat. You are...
ごめんごめん。自己紹介が先だったよね。
Kageyuki
警視庁の
Saraishi.
科学捜査研究所所属。今は新宿署で機動捜査支援係を担当しています。白石景之です。よろしくね。
Oh, hello. Ichika Hoshino, Special Regions Crime Prevention, Local Office.
ああ、そうそう、そんな
名前だった。I'd heard that CSIs had been temporarily assigned to Shinjuku Station to deal with the X-Day cases. So he's one of them. Sayaki told me once before that the Field Operations Support Team, aka Field Support, was full of eccentrics. Yeah, that's Shiraishi! Eccentric. Perfect description. Those hair clips. That cat tie pin. He does look rather odd. But why is field support coming to talk to SRCPO? I don't think there's anything here for field support to pick up.
言ったでしょ。俺は君を迎えに来たんだよ。
Huh?
あれ、まだわからない？じゃあ、奥の手を使っちゃおうかな。
Shiraishi then mouthed a word at me without making a sound. Color. My mind came to an immediate halt. Um...
それ以上はダメ。君、死にたいの？
He's essentially in his eccentric
でない
way.
と死にますよ。
In his eccentric way, he's trying to remind her of the danger of the situation. It reminded me of the voice from before. I started trembling.
震えちゃってかわいいな。でも安心して。俺が知っても君は死なないから。俺の役目はね、君を柳くんたちの隠れ家へ連れて行ってあげることなんだ。
Finally, I understood what Yanagi meant when he said they'd come and get me. So there's more than 3 of them? And they have somebody in the station working with them? Exactly, yes, in his own eccentric way.
にしても君もついてないね。いきなり非日常に放り込まれちゃって。
By the way, how's the balance of me to the game? I just want to make sure I don't need to, like, rebalance things audio-wise.
いつどんなタイミングで死が訪れるかわからないってどんな気分？ね、俺に教えてよ。
Tell you? The man flashed a pretty smile, but I sensed something unfathomable from him. Cool. Thank you, Soul. Is that really something someone would ask, knowing the situation I'm in? My speechlessness only seemed to cause Shiraishi's grin to widen.
教えてくれないんだ。残念だな。面白そうなのに。
Right? I love you, but it's so hard to defend you right now. He's getting many Gib slaps. He's gonna get many Gib slaps. Interesting? That's the last thing I'd call this.
あ、そうなの？でもさ、ものは考えようだよ。死に直面する機会なんて普通に生きてたらめったにないからね。だからさ、俺、君にすっごく興味があるんだよね。どこかに閉じ込めて一日中観察したいくらい。
Shiraishi? Phrasing! Phrasing! That was supposed to be a joke, right?
さあ、どうだろうね。
With a suggestive smile, he finally let go of my finger.
じゃあ、一緒に柳くんのところに行こうか。準備ができたら機動操作支援係まで来てね。
Without waiting for my response, Shiraishi left. What in the world was that? Ichika asking the real questions here. As I started to think, I touched my neck. I won't solve anything by sitting here and thinking. I need to meet Yanagi's group. I got ready to leave and proceeded to head over to the door with a plate that read, Field Operations Support. I took a deep breath and knocked.
はい。
A female voice answered.
お待たせしました。何か？
Good evening. I'm Ichika Hoshino from the Special Regions Crime Prevention Office.
特防の方が訪ねていらっしゃるとは珍しいですね。
Eriko Mukai.
私は白石主任の世話をしております。向井恵理子と申します。
Director? That guy's actually a big shot? Oh, I'm excited. I remember really liking her when we kind of did a little taste test of the game. Enjoy your lurk, Gabe. Thank you so much.
それでご用件は？
Oh, I have business with Mr. Shiraishi. Is he in?
主任ですね。少々お待ちください。
Mukai disappeared into the room. And then...
主任、お客様です。お待たせしては失礼ですので、今すぐにこちらに来てください。
失礼なのは君だよ。誰が誰の世話をしてるって？
あら、おかしいですね。事実ですが。
はいはい。今はそういうことにしといてあげる。それじゃあ行こうか。向井さん、お疲れ様。
お疲れ様です。
Excuse us. While we walked together, Shiraishi simply looked forward silently. We hadn't known each other very long, so we didn't have much to discuss. Right? She's so polite to Ichika and then talks to Shiraishi like that. To me, that shows just how much of a rapport they have, where she feels like she can call him out on his rudeness, because she's not trying to be like, she's not trying to be out of place, like she's not trying to step out of bounds, but she is trying to be like kind of like a friend calling out somebody being rude and be like, yo, director, it's rude to keep somebody who's here to see you waiting, so chop chop. You know? I'm like a friend or a parent, or both, depending on the rapport you have with your friend. Like, I don't know, probably more a parent, because I feel like it would be more of a parent thing to be like, hey, don't keep somebody waiting, that's rude. But the awkwardness on top of the situation was getting agonizing, so I tried to initiate small talk with him. Well, hello there, Free Fun Wave! How are you? How did you find the channel, and what are some of your favorite games? So Ms. Mukai called you director back at the station.
ああ、ただの階級だよ。ほら、警察官にもあるでしょ。巡査部長、警部補ってさ。
The people in the crime lab work for the police, but they aren't police officers. I was just trying to figure out how you ended up on my followed list. Oh! Well, maybe I was playing a game when you followed that you enjoyed. This is one of our Spooktober games. This is Caller X Malice, and it is a mystery game. So we are trying to solve a mystery and not die in the process of solving the mystery. I wouldn't say they have good rapport necessarily, but she does call him out when the opportunity presents itself. Exactly, but like, especially given the culture in Japan, they have to have some kind of a rapport where she can feel comfortable saying things in that way. You know what I mean? Like, with Japan being a shame and honor society, if she didn't have some kind of at least somewhat good rapport with him, there wouldn't be, like, she would not feel comfortable calling him out in the way that she did, I don't think. And he would have responded very differently if they didn't have that rapport. You know what I mean? Dying bad, solving good. Got it. Exactly! The people in the crime lab work for the police, but they aren't police officers. So that didn't explain how Shiraishi had become a director. Yeah, it really is. I've never been to Japan, but I have friends who have. And so from the little bits and pieces I've picked up from them, that's kind of the impression I get. I might have been impolite to Shiraishi when he came to see me at SRCPO, which is the Regional Crimes Prevention Office. But he was acting really weird too.
どうかした?
It's nothing.
俺が主任なのがそんなに意外?
Not at all. I was just surprised. Oh! Oops.
そう俺みたいにうさんくさいやつ全然主任に見えないってことだね。
I never said that.
そこまでってことは少なからず思ってはいたんだ。ああ、そうか、そうなんだ。君って見た目で人を判断するんだね。ああ、俺もそうだし、悪いことじゃないよ。
I tried to lie to him, but all I did was dig my own grave. I wish he wasn't so critical of other people too. When I heard he was a director, I expected more from him, so I was a little disappointed. Before long, we reached an intersection a good distance from the police station. When we paused to wait for the signal, I heard a heavy sigh next to me.
できることなら二人っきりで君をもっと観察したかったんだけどな。
Phrasing? Study? Something felt off about him the moment we met, and I finally realized that I was like an interesting lab subject to him. He's obviously saying this. Or he's obviously enjoying this, while my life hangs in the balance. Determined not to be jerked around, I changed the subject. We were already outside of Shinjuku Station, so I should be able to ask about the others. Hey.
ここで柳くんたちとの関係を聞かれても何も答えないからね。
What? I was stunned that I was denied so abruptly.
考えを読まれて驚いてる?
Just a little bit. How did you know?
それが俺の仕事だからだよ。観察してその人間の考えや行動を分析するんだ。
You're a profiler? True, their society is complex, but personality-wise, Shiraishi is outside the norm. The reason I hesitate to call their rapport good exactly is that they aren't really friends. She hates that man with a passion, and given how he comes across to most people, hard to blame her. That is true. That is true. maybe rapport is the wrong word to use. They have a good they have I guess a working relationship? Yeah. They have a good working relationship to where, because you can have a good working relationship and not necessarily be friends. And so they have enough of a work relationship to where she can call him out without him being offended. Like, truly offended. He can be playfully offended. But they have a good enough working relationship to where she can call him out in that way and he won't be like, you're fired. You know what I mean?
犯行の手口や統計学から犯人像を割り出してその心理を推論する。つまりプロファイリングするっていう仕事でね。この数年の間にプロファイラーも事件の捜査に加われるようになったものの。
There we go. We have ads starting in 1 minute. I will use that time. That we get a 1 minute ad break every, I think it's every hour? Maybe half hour? I can't remember what I've got my ads set to, but you will not miss a thing. I will use that time to go on to BRB, and you are not going to miss a single aspect of the story because I don't want you guys to miss any of the story. So, we're going to go with that, and our ad break will start in about 20 seconds, and then we'll be back in about a minute after that.
捜査一課の人が目を光らせてるからあんまり好き勝手できないし。
Shiraishi sighed, disappointment on his face.
ま、ちょうどいいのかもしれないな。俺はブレーキをかけてもらわないと踏み込みすぎちゃうから。
Alrighty, let's see. Are we in ads? I don't know. There's always a delay between when they say the ads are going to be starting and when the ads actually start. Slightly frightened by Shiraishi's cheerful tone, I revisited the topic. When you figured out what I was thinking, did you analyze me?
まだそんなに分析ってほどのことはしてないよ。君ってわかりやすいし。
That's not true.
そんなことあるって。君はさっきから俺のことばかり気にして、そのくせなかなか口を開こうとして。
Alright, looks like ads have started. I'm gonna go ahead and go on BRB and we'll be back in a minute. Alright, you guys, we are back from ads. I had to fix the title. Thank you, Soul, for texting me and letting me know that I had mixed up protagonists in the title. My brain must have been on Jack Jean, because, like, I put in the protagonist for Jack Jean. Not Ichika. How could I do that? Caffeinated brain was not caffeinated at that time. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and replay this bit of dialogue. Let's see, can I... There we go.
そんなことあるって。君はさっきから俺のことばかり気にして、そのくせなかなか口を開こうとしなかった。知り合って間もない相手と距離を縮めようと考えを巡らせていたみたいだったけど、大抵そういった場合、口をつくのは当たり障りのない話題だ。同じ部署なら仕事の話が触れるけど、君とは部署が違う。あと残されてるのはこういう関係。この状況下で君が俺と柳くんたちの関係性に興味を持たないわけがない。
I mean, he's not wrong.
そして俺との沈黙も解消される。まさに願ったり叶ったりな展開だね。ま、柳くんたちと合流するまでは詳しい話をするつもりはないけど。
Shiraishi had completely unraveled my exact thought process. It kind of feels like he's making a fool out of me.
そんなにムスッとした顔しない。他人を分析するのは職業病みたいなものなんだ。それに君のそのあけすけなまでの分かりやすさには好感が持てるよ。
That can't be a compliment.
そんなことないよ。バカな子ほど可愛いって言うしね。
Gib slap number... Let's see, what Gib slap number are we up to now? Like 10? I blew past fear and was just astonished now at how thoroughly he could read my thoughts. The light changed, and Shiraishi walked away. I intentionally fell behind, allowing a bit of distance between us as we walked. After that, we arrived at a corner that was lined with old buildings. This area was lively earlier, but it was now utterly devoid of foot traffic and shrouded in ominous darkness.
着いたよ。
Shiraishi pointed to a building with shuttered windows on the first floor.
このビルの5階で柳くんたちが君の到着を首を長くして待ってる。
I don't expect much of a welcome.
あ、今嘘くさいって思ったでしょ。傷つくな。
Eh? No, I didn't.
はい、嘘。まあいいけど。入る前に一つだけいいかな。
What is it? What could it be now? Seeing my obvious apprehension, Shiraishi
こ
chuckled.
こからは俺を上の人間だと思わなくていいから。
Meaning?
ここでの俺は警察職員じゃなくて柳くんたちと同じ立場になるってことだよ。
I see.
ん？それじゃ入ろうか。
Wait! I darted after Shiraishi, who had suddenly entered the building. Then I noticed the tenant's nameplate. 5th floor. Detective agency?
ああ、その表札は名前だけだから気にしないで。それより早くしないと置いてっちゃうよ。
Yes. I hurriedly ran up the stairs after Shiraishi in a panic. And then... I finally set foot into my destination for the evening.
来たな。好きなところに座ってくれ。
Best boy, Yanagi! Okay. In the room were the 3 men I met at Shinjuku Garden, along with Shiraishi. Their expressions were all different, but I felt that they were all sizing me up. I couldn't help but feel unwelcome. You could cut the tension with a knife. Pardon me. At a loss for what to do, I took a seat on the sofa nearest me and watched Yanagi. The mood seemed a bit chillier than it was during our first encounter. This atmosphere is so heavy. Just then, Shiraishi emerged from behind a partition with a cup of coffee. He set it down in front of me, and then slowly took a seat next to Yanagi on the arm of the sofa.
大丈夫だよ。みんな見た目はあれだけど、中身は善良だから。
I hope that's true.
さっさと話して終わりにするぞ。これ以上時間割かれたくないからな。
Oh, Sasazuka! Sasazuka coldly prodded me to speak, without even glancing up from the computer that he was using.
お前だって早く帰りたいだろ。
True, but...
まあまあ、そんなツンケンしたところで何もいいことはないよ。せっかく第三者の人目に触れないところに来たんだし、ここは彼女の首輪をじっくり鑑賞するべきじゃないかな。
白石さん、それが目当てでおとなしくこいつを連れてきたんじゃ。
そうだけど、何か問題ある？
I knew he was just enjoying this. My gloomy mood abruptly turned to anger. I didn't have the luxury of being toyed with right now, and I was not in the mood. I couldn't just simply trust people who would let Shiraishi behave like this. I opened my mouth to vent my roiling indignation, sorry.
ひとまず自己紹介でもしておくか。これから協力して動いていくことになるかもしれないからな。
The shock from both the statement and being interrupted made my eyes go wide. Working together? What do you mean? Without answering my question, Yanagi simply laid a sheet of paper on the table. When I picked it up, I saw it was written with the same red lettering as the earlier note. We have seen that you possess the skill to assist Ichika Hoshino. She is one of our sympathizers and a woman with the potential to inherit our will, so treat her with courtesy. Should any harm come to her, we will have no choice but to kill you all. Huh? Calling me a sympathizer? And threatening them? I was racked with shock, fear, and confusion. My hands trembled, but I kept reading. The note continued. Nonetheless, we bear no ill will towards your group. On the contrary, we would prefer to join hands. You, who question the form of righteousness that the police cling to, would surely find our concept of justice more agreeable. Of course, we do not expect you to be persuaded by mere words. So please try to grasp the truth of the X-Day incidents. Discover our true intentions. You have until midnight on January 1st. We'll be watching you via Ichika Hoshino. What on earth do these people want? Joining hands? Does that mean these people are potentially murderers too? And there's not a word about the collar. They said they'd be watching through me. So I'm going to be wearing it forever? Disturbed, I put down the letter. Sasuzuka spoke instantly, as if he was waiting for me.
これで今回のことを仕組んだ人間とお前がつながってる可能性が高くなったな。
What? Don't go assuming that on your own. I raised my voice at him without thinking. But I hadn't joined the X-Day thugs at all, so I couldn't let unchecked accusations stand.
嘘をついているようには見えないね。
つってもそれ白石さんの主観だし、本当のところはわからないんじゃ。
あれ、珍しいな。榎本くんが俺を否定するなんてさ。
いやいや、白石さんにケチつけたんじゃないですから。ただ嘘を見抜かせないようにとか、そういうことできる人間もいるし。
Exactly,
人の本質なんて
Enomoto.
わからないもんだから。
Exactly, Enomoto. Enomoto looked glum. Seeing that gave me a different image of him than I had earlier. They might have their own set of unfortunate circumstances, but that doesn't mean I can't let them pin this all on me. We don't know what the criminals want, but... I sat on the sofa and looked at Yanagi. He nodded in understanding.
可能性の話はいくらでもできる。まずは彼女の話を聞いてからだ。星野、あの時新宿園で起こったことを詳しく聞かせてくれるか。
Yes. They mentioned justice in this letter. When the criminals spoke to me through the collar, they were fixated on justice too. When the collar was put on me, the criminals spoke to me for a little bit. Excuse me. It felt like I was being interrogated, as I stated I had no clue why I was targeted. I didn't understand the criminals' claims, and as a police officer, that I'd done no wrong.
お前の言い分は分かった。こっちとしてもお前と犯人がつながってる証拠を掴んだわけじゃない。巻き込まれただけなら放っておくつもりもない。
And see, that's what I like about Yanagi, is that he knows that you can't, A, he knows you can't just make assumptions, but B, he knows how to make Ichika feel heard. He knows how to let her know, hey, I hear what you're saying. Here's our thought. Exactly! Thank you, Yanagi, voice of reason.
柳先輩。
榎本、たとえ彼女がスパイだったとして、俺たちは犯人側に知られて困るような情報をつかめてるか。
それは
疑うのはいつでもできる。だが信じないと始まらない。
And he's right. You're not going to get anywhere until you trust her, because you all have to trust each other if you're going to, you know, get to the bad guys.
X デイ事件を追うのも大事だが、その首輪について調べるべきだ。星野、お前の本意じゃないとしても、犯人につながる大事な手がかりだからな。
Exactly. You can definitely see his experience as a former officer here, because he recognizes how to calm people down, how to remind them of the reality of the situation, that we can't just assume without evidence, and we have no evidence other than this letter from the bad guys. And the bad guys would say anything. They would say anything to paint themselves in a good light. And so all they know right now, for sure, is that they need to work with Ichika. That's the only thing they know for sure right now.
ま、利用できるなら使うべきだな。
それに、首輪をどうにかしないことには、お前も落ち着かないだろう。
That's true. That's true. He's actually concerned for my safety. Even though the collar and its ties to the culprits was what they were interested in, it was still very heartening to hear him actually worry about my well-being. But if you're going to examine the collar...
言い忘れていましたが。
Huh? A sudden voice made itself known and directed everybody's attention to my collar.
首輪を外そうとしても無駄です。無理に外そうとすれば、彼女の命は保証できません。調べるのは自由ですが、それも我々に不利益ありと知れば、同じ結末に至ります。
Dun dun dun!
それより、X デー事件を調べてください。真実を知れば、きっとあなたたちは今の正義を貫けなくなる。それでも我々の志に反するのが正しいと思えるかどうか見定めさせてもらいます。
今の犯人からだよな。いわゆる警告ってやつか。
わざわざ俺たちが集まったところでか。ずいぶん自己顕示欲が強いみたいだね。
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Shiraishi. They definitely seem to crave the spotlight. Bayo! Thank you so much! You guys, Bayo is a fantastic Christian variety streamer. If you want to be encouraged, definitely go to his channel and help him out. Let him encourage you. Let God encourage you through him. Oh, it's all good, The Mountain. Thank you so much for the follow. How's it going, Techie? Being blessed with the Bayo raid. Cat, how you doing, my friend? And Ice the Unknown Ranger, thank you so much. Thank you so much. As you guys can probably tell from my sound alerts. And Xanadu. Aw, thank you, bro. You are the best. You are the best. Your skull hurts, but that's normal at this point. Lord, right now, we just bring the mountain before you. We ask that you remove the pain from his head, Lord. Whether it's a headache or some other form of pain, I ask that you just remove it and give the doctors and the mountain wisdom in knowing how to combat this and make it where that pain is lessened. In your name I pray. Amen. Oh, you have a condition that you were born with. Oh, gotcha. Lucis, how you doing? Hope you guys are all doing well. How was the stream? How was the stream? I know Bayo doesn't normally stream on Saturdays. Doing that super awesome bonus stream, surprise stream. So how did it go? Oh, your spine is putting pressure on your brain. Oh, yeah, that definitely sounds like it would lead to some headaches. It was Bayo-rific. I love it, Techie. That is awesome. Oh, amen, amen. God is so, so good. So, so good. Praise God. I'm so glad that it was amazing. And that hopefully there was a lot of great conversation and opportunities to just love on people. Oh, he couldn't say you and he failed like 3 times. Did they do the silent redeem again for the word you? Oh, it's typically in the back of your head. Gotcha. The headaches are like migraines on steroids. Oh man, that is rough. I'm sorry, Mountain. I'm definitely praying for you. You have to drink something scary and Beowulf gets to blindfold you and feed you something spooky. Oh my gosh. She is so looking forward to that. I can only imagine the grin on her face as she's thinking about, what do I get to feed Beo? And with your job, this is great sarcasm. What's your job? I'm curious. So far, it looks like the something is GT's Alive Ancient Mushroom Elixir Cola? Oh, I see. The something that he has to drink. Gotcha. You're a firefighter. Well, thank you so much for all you do. I actually work in the communications section in law enforcement, making different recordings and things like that. I'm kind of an admin assistant. I have nothing but respect for the red line, the blue line, the gold line, all of our first responders. So thank you so much for your service. You're around loud noises all day. That sounds about right. Oh man, that mushroom elixir sounds like it's gonna be, man, oh man. Sort of the family business. That's awesome. You guys are so brave. I cannot imagine going into the fire like that. You are so brave. You are so brave, and I have nothing but respect for you. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Donna. I'm a family-friendly Christian variety streamer. This month we are playing some spooky games for Spooktober. So today it is Collar X Malice. So this is a Japanese visual novel, kind of a murder mystery. And we're trying to solve this mystery without dying in the process, essentially. And so this group that we're with is trying to solve the same cases that we are. And so it's not the typical family-friendly games I play. This is a PG-13 game, just a heads up. But Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy on Tuesday is going to be more family-friendly, I think. So thank you guys so much. I hope you love the content. Let me know how I can pray for you. Let me know how I can be there for you. We are so big on community here. And I just thank you guys so much. I love you guys. God loves you too. And we're going to dive right back into the game. You love and hate your job at the same time, and you've been there for 7 years. I've actually been in my position for almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in January. I've played some of Ace Attorney. In fact, I might just have to finish that one at some point on stream. I think that would be awesome. I love the Phoenix Wright games. They are so much fun.
星野、大丈夫か?
So essentially what just happened is she has a collar on that the bad guys can talk through. And they just talked to the group, letting them know, hey, you're free to investigate and like look at it, but don't try to remove it. Yeah, sorry. The criminals are monitoring everything about me through the collar. Let's see. I have Ace Attorney here on Steam. Where is it? Is it under? Yeah, there it is. I have the trilogy. Oh yes, for 250 years, I did see that. That's amazing. Roughly 6 generations? Wow. That is so cool. Definitely give your family my thanks for their service. I finished... Oh gosh. I've played about 5.4 hours. Finished up episode 2. So I think I'm on case 3 of the trilogy. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Right? Solid choice. Solid choice. So we are definitely going to have to add that into our rotation at some point. Maybe we'll alternate between Hogwarts Legacy and Ace Attorney. Kind of make this a mystery month. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, case 3 of game 1. Yeah, that sounds about right. And then I have the sequel, The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Let me see if, oh, come on. There we go. It helps if I can spell it right. There's... Ooh, I'm gonna need to add the Investigations collection to my wish list. Released this year? Oh, I am so adding that to my wish list. Okay. And then... additional music... Okay, so that's all music there. Is Apollo Justice? Okay. And that one also just released this year. We're adding that to my wish list as well. I have 7 games now on my wish list. One of which we don't even have a release date for, because it's still in development. One of them is... Oh, they're technically re-releases. Okay, well that's cool. Okay, let's get caught up here on chat. It's because of the bad stuff that you breathe in. Yeah, that makes sense, because smoke is definitely something that you don't want to breathe in on a normal basis. The scuba helps, but it ain't gonna filter everything. Exactly, exactly. Great Ace Attorney is a vaguely related prequel. Okay. You'd like to come... Hold on. Come out the fire truck blasting water like you like to come out the fire truck blasting water like Yosemite Sam. I can totally see that. I can totally see that happening. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. It was the first time they'd contacted me since I was paralyzed. So what do you guys have planned this weekend? Anything fun? It looks like they wanted everyone to be sure that they're always watching. I started to feel that this was hopeless, and I wrung my hands in my lap. SCBA stands for Self-Contained Breathing Apparatus. Thank you! I had a feeling because scuba is self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. So I had a feeling that without the U, it was just the same thing, but without the underwater aspect. The games actually came out ages ago, but they bundled the individual games together in collections and remastered them. I remember watching a live stream of a lawyer playing some of the Ace Attorney games, and it had Von Karma. It had Von Karma, and he made different voices for each character. And the way that he made... the German accent that he used for Von Karma, to this day, I cannot look at Von Karma saying the word judge without saying judge the way that he did, and it was something like, judge! I remember, let's see, I remember him being older. I'm pretty sure he was older. And he did the thing.
ま、手を取り合いたいなんて言われても願い下げだっつうの。やめたとはいえ、俺たちだって警察の一員だったんだぜ。
I will definitely see if I can find it, because even though that particular lawyer has run into some issues recently, I will definitely see if I can find that live stream, because it's from years ago, back when he was covering a case that I was following along with. And yeah, that probably tells you which lawyer it is. Yeah, he was covering a case that I was interested in and was following along with. And when he didn't have any updates on that case, there would be times where he would play Phoenix Wright. And I was like, that's so cool! A lawyer playing a lawyer game. That's so cool! He was in case 1 through 4. Gotcha! Because I want to say the lawyer I had was, or the prosecutor I had was Edgeworth. The city pays roughly 18 grand for your gear. Wow! Hopefully that's really good quality gear. I hope so. I looked up. All of you were police? I did verify that Yanagi was a former officer. Enomoto and Sasuka, were you two also police officers?
バカがそのアホな
Apologies
口
for the
縫い
language.
付けてこい
Oh, the notion I used means game 1, case 4. Oh, gotcha. And that's for 11,000 uniformed firefighters. Oh, over 11,000 uniformed firefighters. So does that equate to about 1,000 per...
今はちょっと口が滑った
roughly
だけだっつうの。
$1,000 per uniform? So it's true then? When I pressed him on it, Enomoto looked to Yanagi in a plea for support.
隠すことでもないだろう。調べようと思えばすぐわかることだ。あ、それと物はついでだ。二人とも星野に自己紹介しておけ。何にしろ彼女との接点はこれから増えることになるだろうからな。
Depends on if the supply issues and lack of factory workers got fixed. Oh, that makes sense. You gotta have the right people and the right amount of people working. Seems like an issue kind of throughout the, like throughout the US, there's just this shorthandedness. Enomoto quietly cleared his throat. Then he turned to me and made eye contact. He took a deep breath.
耳かっぽしてよく聞きな元第二機動捜査隊所属かの前田刑事に勝るとも劣らねえ歌舞伎者
This guy, I love him. I love this guy. If you did your math correctly, the total price they spend is, whoa. Okay, got too close to the light. My eyes just like, Okay, get rid of some of that dust in my eye. Okay. 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma, about 198 million. Wow. That is a huge amount of money.
捕らえた犯人は数知れず
Yeah, you're right. It was 6. I just had to I had to go and count them because they all blended.
立ち向かう男の中の男
Foot stomp! Mic drop!
榎本峰歌この俺のことよ よーく覚えておきな、新人ちゃん。
Don't you forget it, rookie! There's a high chance you messed that up. Math isn't your thing. It's all good. Math isn't my thing either. Honestly, one of my favorite days in geometry class was the day that it was a half day because we had college week. So what that was all of the teachers would wear merchandise from their college, and it was designed to basically encourage students to start thinking about college or trade school. And my geometry teacher, she went to the Air Force Academy, and so she had her Air Force jumpsuit. And one of my fellow students raised his hand and said, "What do all the patches stand for?" And since it was a half day, we already had a shorter class period as is. But she went through every single patch explaining what they all meant. And that took her about a good 20 minutes. And then with about 10 minutes left in class, she's like, "All right, let's get in a little bit of actual math." But math and me have never been simpatico. And so geometry was my worst. I actually somewhat understood algebra. But there's a reason that I took business math over function statistics and trigonometry. You were actually scouted by a few colleges? Nice! That's so cool. What sports? Right, Common Core? What does this mean? I think that Common Core is a great concept. I like the idea of you can go anywhere in the US, but you're able to know exactly where your school will be at. You're able to kind of pick up where you left off. And I feel like that was the goal of Common Core. It was just very poorly implemented. Math was one of your favorite subjects? Nice! Ooh, what position in basketball? I was one of the wings. I was always one of the wings. I was position 3. Your favorite day of geometry was when it was all over. Amen. That was my second favorite day. Geometry was probably your favorite math class despite not doing well in math either. Maybe because I was able to visualize it so much easier. For me, it was the proofs. I absolutely despised proofs. They were my least favorite thing in the world to this day. Oh wow, you're 6'8" and you played a forward. Nice! I was about probably 5 foot 5'1" at the time. I am now 5'1.5". And so I would probably still play wing, but I enjoyed it. I'm definitely more of a pickup game person versus playing like competitively. Back in school, all you cared about was sports and girls. Hey, there we go. Your least favorite subject was social studies. I enjoyed, to a certain extent, social studies. My favorite was English. You probably would have been fine with the proofs if there wasn't so much memorization required to do them. And that makes sense. Even though I'm a strong memorizer, at the time, I did not have necessarily the ability to learn and dump at the end. I kind of, when it came to math especially, was like, when am I ever going to need to know that so-and-so's theorem of this means that this is a right angle? Like, when am I ever gonna do that? When am I ever gonna need that? And now you're learning to draft 3D models, right? So that's amazing. Your grades showed it you liked phys ed, no homework, and you could actually use your ADHD to your advantage. Who's using algebra at the gas pump? Exactly. Like, that was my thing, was I just needed to know it was something I would use, and that was why I loved business math. was business math was full of stuff that I use even today. It taught me figuring out a mortgage, figuring out tax forms, etc. Looking back on it, you could probably appreciate the logic behind it, but memorization is not your strong suit, and that makes sense. Algebra is life. That does, I mean, like, to a certain extent, I can see it, because especially in regards to, like, paying for stuff, you need to know how to figure out, okay, how do I figure out 35%? You know what I mean? How do I figure out the price at 30% off? That kind of a thing. You need to learn how to solve for X, but English wasn't your favorite, but you were very good at the subject. On the pre-SAT, you actually got a perfect score on the English section? That's amazing! I took microeconomics. I took, I think, micro, or maybe it was macroec. I took some economics class for my degree. But math was never my strong suit. English very much was. Why all the kabuki mannerisms? Oh, did he say he's a kabuki mono?
まともに相手しないでいいよ。彼は天然っていうか神聖っていうか、俺的には遠くから眺めるのが。
Your mom was a math and English teacher? That's awesome, Techie! I tried teaching, it just didn't work out the way I planned, but I love my job now, so it was worth it to get to where I am now. Right.
星野、気にしなくていい。あれは榎本なりの照れ隠しだからな。不器用なやつなんだ、あいつは。
バカの極みとも言うけどな。
You like to think you modeled your basketball game after greats like Kobe? I love it! Do you still play today? You don't have the paper with the results anymore, as that was years ago, but you got all the questions right. You know what? Let's take a look. Perfect score English section PSAT. All I get are general good scores. Oh well. Hey West, how you doing? Oh no, spider, spider! Ah! How's it going? The geometry you have to do in CAD is surprisingly minimal. The computer does the math, does most of it for you, so it's not too bad. You still play even though you got a bum knee. That's awesome. You're awake against your will. What time is it for you? Is it like almost lunchtime? I'm gonna have pizza after stream. I am so excited for it.
決まった。これ以上なく決まったぜ。じゃあ次、
Dude,
タケルの番
go
だな。
get yourself some coffee, get yourself some food. And your day is gonna be awesome. If it wasn't for your knee injury, you would have played college ball for free. Wow! I got almost a full ride to one university, but we weren't quite sure where they were at academically. So I ended up going to a different university. You actually did very well on the actual SAT too. That's awesome! I think I did well on the SAT, but I did better on the ACT, if I remember correctly. But I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember my scores.
サイバー犯罪対策課にいた笹塚健。以上。
I love him. Short, straight to the point. That's the one thing I like about him, is short, straight to the point. You had schools like Notre Dame, Duke, UConn, and UCLA looking at you. You could have played a D1. That's amazing, the Mountain. I love that. I'm sorry that you ended up getting hurt and couldn't take advantage of it, but I'm so glad that you found a way to make it work, you know? You found the SAT easier personally? Hey Dreamer, how's it going? How's your Saturday? The first time you took the SAT, Tucky, you got exactly the same score you got a year earlier on the PSAT. Apparently you didn't learn anything that year. Oh no! It wasn't even on the court that you got hurt. Oh no, how did it happen? Enemoto's introduction was so dynamic that this feels somewhat lacking. Taking some downtime, I love it! That is something I have been focusing on, is taking a day to just have some downtime. Some guy drove through the light and hit you and your girlfriend? Oh my gosh! So clearly you were okay. Was your girlfriend okay? Like, clearly you survived. Was your girlfriend injured at all? Even the math English split was the same. Oh my gosh, that's amazing, Techie! You took most of the hit. He hit us on the driver's side. Oh man. Oh, that's rough. I'm so sorry that you went through that. Thinking back to what you'd overhear in the office, I remembered hearing about cybercrime prevention a few times. If I recall correctly, that division was quite difficult to get into. Oh good, I'm glad she only got some minor cuts and bruises. Are you guys still together? His skills must be the real deal if he got in at his age. Anyway, it couldn't be a coincidence that everyone here was related to the police. Oh man, your leg was wrecked. I believe it. Something like that, it's easy to get all the like bones in the leg or hit your leg. She moved on almost immediately? Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry, Mountain. I hope that you find the right person who will love and accept you and help you grow where needed. Yeah, it's one of those you can look back at it and be like, okay, I'm a completely different person than I was back then. But I hope that if it's meant to be, that if it's God's will, that you find the right person and that she loves and respects and grows with you and that you grow with her. You were married once already and it didn't work out? I'm sorry. Sounds like you've been dealt a rough hand. I'm sorry to hear that. Is the reason you all quit the force because you questioned the righteousness of the police like the letter mentioned? I knew I was prying, but I figured I might as well take a shot. Sasazuka and Enomoto averted their eyes. Maybe they didn't want to talk about it. Oh, gotcha. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I am so That is never, ever easy to go through. And I'm so sorry that you went through that. And I can understand where that anger would be, there. There's anger, there's hurt. Granted, looking back, I'm also glad you recognize that you could have handled it differently. But anger always brings out the worst when we let it get out of control. And it sounds like you've learned from it and you've grown from it. And I'm proud of the growth that you seem to have experienced and that you learned from that situation. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, exactly. And having something like that, taking mental health into account too. There's also that aspect of it. And I hope that you're that your bipolar is you're able to manage it a bit better. I know that that's not easy at all, and all I can say is I'm praying for you, and I hope that life gets better. And oh, good, I'm glad that you're able to get the help that you need, and that you've learned from it, you've grown, and that hopefully now that you've grown and you're a different person than you were back then, hopefully that makes you a better person and better able to be the person that God wants you to be. For sure, for sure. And for anybody, anger is dangerous. For anybody, there's always a risk of anger going into a blind rage. And anger is one of the hardest ones to keep in check. And so that's why I'm like, okay, whenever I do get angry, where do I feel it? Do I feel it in my heart racing? Do I feel a burning in my cheeks, a pounding in my head, a clenching of the fist? Where do I feel it? And then when I feel it, what can I do to prevent myself from doing something I'll regret? Sometimes it's walking away. Sometimes it's biting your tongue and just not saying anything. Sometimes it's taking deep breaths and counting to 10. Different things help different people. And yeah, that definitely sounds like I wouldn't want to get on your bad side. Yeah, you're not a violent person, but sometimes it just comes out. And it's important to recognize that about yourself, which you have, and that's a great first step. James 1:20. Let me look that up real quick, because I remember some of James 1 and I remember 22 through 24. Human anger does not produce the righteousness God desires. For the anger of man. Yep, it is. And verse 19 as well. And this is in the ESV. There we go. This is James 19. I used to, and then it just decided to not work for me for some reason. And so I've been trying to figure out how to get it to work. But yeah, it just doesn't want to work for me for some reason. You're rather new to the faith. You were raised Eastern Orthodox, but rebelled against it for years. You hated being forced into it. You're originally Russian-born. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and faith definitely is not something that can be forced upon people. You have to really make it your own, you know? And good morning, Casey. Moved to the States when you were 15. I love it. What would you say is the biggest difference between Russia and here that you've experienced? Russian winter stuck. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Alrighty, Techie, you enjoy. Hope you're able to help that client and get them up and running again. Yeah, faith is something you definitely need to make your own. It is not something that can be forced. I would say, the best... Like, I can see the difference in teaching the kids your faith. Raising them with a knowledge of God and saying, this is what we believe as a family. But I think that there's a difference, in making sure that they're regularly in church, because, you want them to be, oh, we got an ad break starting in a minute. So I will go to BRB during that time. So we do ads about a minute or so every hour. And hopefully we'll be ad-free for an hour after that. But yeah, to me, I'm like, raise your kids with a knowledge of God. Make sure that they are regularly learning about Him. But there's also, you don't want to say, oh, you're X age, you need to make that decision. You know what I mean? Like, forcing them to make that decision before they're ready will not end well. So, alright, you guys, we've got ads starting in a few seconds. So, let me know when I should get a notification that pops up. But, we definitely, don't want you guys to miss any of this amazing conversation. So, the Russian alphabet is Slavic-based, not Latin-based like most of Europe, so the way you write is strange to most people. You were born in Moscow and on a yearly basis saw something like 152 centimeters of snow. Wow! That's amazing. I cannot even imagine that much snow. I live in a desert state, and so the only snow I ever see is usually up in the mountains. There's been a handful of times that it's actually snowed during the year. Alright, we'll finish this after the ad break. Per DuckDuckGo, that's about 5 feet of snow. Temps were between -3 and -9 Celsius, but it's gotten as low as 42 Celsius and -44 Fahrenheit. Wow! Yeah, I've only ever gotten snow on the mountains. We've gotten some snow down off the mountains, but it's never stuck long enough to like do much of anything with. But the northern part of my state gets a fair amount of snow. Alrighty.
それぞれ
Oh
思う
man,
ところがあ
I
ってや
do
めたのは
not think
確
I
か
could dig my car out of that. I could definitely not dig my car out of that at all.
俺は組織の方針に従えなかった。俺が目指す事件の解決
Oh,
の
my
ために
sister's online.
警察じゃできないことだったんだ。
I always forget that you get notifications for that. You went to school in Chicago and still have a hard time wrapping your head around negative 44 Fahrenheit, right? I cannot imagine negative 44. You haven't seen snow in a long time? What general part of the States do you live in?
だからここで独自に事件の捜査を続けることにした。
I see. They obviously all had their own baggage. That was why all these fellow ex-officers had gravitated to each other to pursue the case. I could understand that much.
ねえ、そこの3人はともかくさ、この手を取り合いたいって中に俺も含まれてるのかな。
You live in New York and it used to snow, but it hasn't since that freak blizzard. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. That makes sense. I have not been to New York in forever. I think the last time I went to New York was when I visited a friend and we went to go visit some family members of hers on Long Island. Between 15 to 26 Fahrenheit on average, it's actually warmer than you thought it'd be. Right? Here, the coldest it ever got is probably like the mid 30s. Oh yeah, New York is so expensive, and housing in general has just gotten so expensive. Not to like get political or anything, but yeah, I'm not a fan of the housing market these days. Shiraishi spoke flippantly while waving the note around as if to break the tense mood. Oh, right. In his own eccentric way, Shiraishi brought up a very valid point. Shiraishi, you still work with the police, so how did you know about all this? I do too, but prices are just so expensive. You take the subway everywhere except Staten Island. The subway can't go through water. Ah, gotcha. I actually took the Channel at one point and went from Paris to London and met my sister there. And that was super fun. Super cool. Yeah, the way the housing market is, it's hard as a person on a single income to buy a house. Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that, because I'm trying to picture, like, where would that be, you know? Like, I've been to Long Island and I've been to New York City, but I haven't been to, like, northern New York or anything like that. My dad has for work, but for a desert dweller, you dealt with Chicago surprisingly well. It wasn't until negative 15 Fahrenheit or so that you were like, nope, I'm done. To be fair, at that point, I would be beyond done. I would have been done at like 20. I'd have been done at like 20 degrees. Oh, unless sleet was involved. Yeah, that just makes it feel even colder. You either take the bridge from Brooklyn, the tunnel, or the ferry. That makes sense. If the messages are to be trusted, I'll be killed if the police know about this.
なんでも何も1通目の手紙、君を殺すっていう予告状は俺が仕事で扱う事件資料の中に紛れ込んでたからだよ。
Oh good, I'm glad the ferry is free. You love the cold? I like warm without being too warm, I guess, is the best way to put it. How to phrase this? I definitely prefer cold to heat, because you can always add layers. You can't always take off layers. Exactly. Spring is actually my favorite season. With your job, the work environment can hit over 400 degrees Fahrenheit depending on what's burning. Oh, wow. That definitely makes sense, though. First winter there, you were snowed out of your birthday plans, so you were pretty grumpy about that. I would be grumpy, too. So everything is cold to you. Compared to 400, yeah, I can definitely understand that. What?
捜査一課から届けられた資料だったんだけど、ご丁寧に探偵事務所
Ah,
様
you like winter followed by fall. Very nice. I would say for me, it would be spring, fall, winter, summer. But fall and winter kind of tie, I would say.
だからここのメンバーである俺が柳君たちに伝えて君を探し当てたってわけ。警察に知らせたら女性を殺すってあるんだよ。報告なんてできないじゃない。
Yeah, summer just gets so hot. It gets to triple digits here. You came out of a fire, or you come out of a fire, drink a whole thing of water, and then pour the second over your head. I can definitely understand that. Does that typically help bring the body temperature down? He smiled as he said that, so it seemed to me that he was more amused than concerned. It still doesn't feel right to me that a current police employee is involved here.
そして2通目。さっき見せた手紙はお前を見つけて新宿園から帰ってきたらこの事務所のテーブルに置いてあった。
It's a humid heat for you? Yeah, that's the good thing about the desert is it's a dry heat versus a humid heat more often than not. It cools you down a few seconds before you have to start overhaul. We don't just put out the fire and leave. Ah, gotcha. What all does overhaul entail? Is that like putting away like the hose and the ladder and all that stuff? Huh. The first letter was a notice. So the second was deliberately planted here after they confirmed my rescue? Oh, you investigate the cause and then that goes into the report. Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. That would make sense that you'd have to be on scene and help out with investigating the cause and things like that. You wouldn't just leave. You'd want to make sure that you know the cause to A, prevent it from happening again, but B, like you said, if there is suspected arson, you can bring in the arson division, get the police involved, and hopefully find the person that did it before they do something else. Yeah, let's see, how warm is it here today? Finally, a day under 100! High's gonna be 99, but it's not 100! They're the most overworked and overwhelmed people in the department. That makes sense. 68 Fahrenheit in your room right now. I think we have the house at the mid-70s? Or actually probably low 70s. I don't know what the weather's like in my room right now, but I've got my fan going, as you can see. More just for my comfort. Yeah, still too warm for fall, but you'll take what you can get. Exactly. I'm like, the day that the weather gets under 100, I'm like, thank you! I'll take it, keep it going. Down, down, down. The first letter leads me to believe someone currently in Investigations HQ was involved. But to leave the second letter here in this office? Did the person who put this collar on me come here before the others had returned? That seemed unrealistic. The culprit would have needed to track these three to avoid encountering them. What's suspicious is... there were too many possibilities, but one suspicion within my mind grew. But some people have a gift for investigation. That makes sense. There are some people that notice the little details. And that's just where their talents lie, and I love that. You found a cool wall clock with a thermometer at Goodwill? I love that! I need to replace the battery on my wall clock, I think, because the second hand is... I think the battery's dying or dead, because the second hand is just doing kind of this... And so I'm like, yeah, that kind of tells me I need to do that. You're the physical guy, you kick in the doors, go through the windows, that sort of thing. That's so cool! That is so cool!
で、飼い猫にされたその女の首は調べていいのか?
Huh? My head snapped to attention after I heard Sasazuka's sudden remark. Oh, that's cool! It has the humidity on it too?
Sasazuka.
54% humidity? That's crazy! You're on the rescue squad, so it's in the name and what your job is. That totally makes sense. That totally makes sense. Do you get to use your Russian a lot, or do you use more English? Oh, hold on. I may have missed something. Okay, no. If it's past the halfway mark, the clock tries to hold up the minute hand, but it's starting to slip. Yeah, it's not the minute hand. It's the second hand. It's usually more humid than that. Oh. The city has 250 fire and ambulance stations. Wow. That's amazing. It amazes me that 54% humidity isn't as humid as it usually gets. I hope that humidity continues to go down. Now hold on a second. Why are you calling me a pet cat?
なんだ見てねえのか。その首輪には猫の絵が入ってんだよ。
Oh, there's a picture of a cat on your collar. What? I didn't want people to see the collar, so I'd done my best to hide it. You only use your Russian in a specific part of the city we nicknamed Little Russia, but it's actually called Brighton Beach. Oh, that's cool. That's so cool that there's a spot of New York where you can definitely use your Russian. I love it. Some days in summer the humidity is like 80% or more. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine that. Right, and these guys just are... I'm with you there, Dreamer. I'm like, At least this guy, Yanagi I like. Yanagi is definitely not gaslighting at all. Yanagi recognizes Ichika doesn't want to be in this situation any more than these guys. You know what I mean?
それに、お前が倒れていた場所にも X デイ事件の現場にいつも置かれている。
That's true. You did tell me that. Yeah, just like anywhere, you've got good and bad. Like, just like you've got good and bad Americans, good and bad, you know, anywhere. I've never been a fan of generalizations like that. You know what I mean?
その首輪と同じような猫のモチーフとアネモネの花があしらわれたものだ。
Oh, summer is rainy season. We get some rain, usually around June, July, and August.
X デイ事件の主犯と言われてるテロ組織アドニスのシンボルな。お前も見たことくらいあんだろ。
You're so welcome, Dreamer. I recognize that there's so much variety. There's so much variety in people that I can't just say, oh, because you're this, you must be this. I might be like, hey, you know, do you enjoy this? Or do you play this, you know? But, like, for example, I've got a friend who's really tall, and everybody thought, oh, basketball player. And she absolutely hated sports. And that's a good point, Soul. Their attitude stems from their distrust. But, like, I recognize that there's a variety. I'm not going to be like, oh, you're from this country? You must be this. I want to get to know the person before... You know what I mean? You've been asked if you were a part of the KGB once, and you're like, how old do you think I am? You get afternoon storms most day in the summer? I wish we did. You're like, they disbanded in the 80s. Right? Right? And that's true. In their eyes, they don't know what to make of her yet. That is true. That is true. And we kind of have to bear that in mind.
持ち帰って白石に調べてもらったが、これまでの事件現場に置かれていたコインと一致した。
X デー
Especially
のカウ
given
ント
the
ダウンを表す
phrasing
ローマ数字はなかったみたいだけどね。
in the letters.
これが12月の事件になるなら1の数字が残されてるはずなんだけど。
I was born in the early 90s. So cool. 90s babies.
その首輪だけだと模倣犯って線も考えられるけど、コインが一致したってことは。
1998. Very cool. 1992.
実行犯は間違いなく X デー事件の関係者ってことだ。
Aw, well, happy early birthday! Happy early birthday, and I hope that when the day comes, you get to celebrate it and feel celebrated.
人のセリフ取るなよ。しかも一番いいところだったのに。
Oh, I need to move my camera down for this face. There you go. Enjoy the face of Enomoto! You work on your birthday almost every year? Aww. That's rough. How long are your shifts usually? Are you on like a 410s? 24 hours? Exactly, Ice. The average citizen in a country is just trying to survive and enjoy life, just like everyone else. 24 on, 48 off. Okay. Gotcha.
知るか。下手にもったいつけてるお前が悪いんだろ。
Right? There we go. Almost went down the wrong pipe. Not quite as handsome as Yanagi's, but I'll take it. It lets you see your kids 2 days a week. I love that! What's your favorite thing to... What are some of your favorite things to do with your kids? I sort of felt bad for Enomoto, but I also really didn't think this was the time. Somebody related to X-Day put this collar around my neck. That means finding out who did this will be no easy task. The entire police force was investigating X-Day, and they'd gotten nowhere. Oh, your ex-wife. They live with your ex-wife. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. But it sounds like you guys do what you can to try and co-parent well, which is good. The average citizen is not part of some conspiracy to cause problems. Exactly, exactly. You do like how the cutouts and changes in facial expressions add to the story. Me too! Aw, that's so fun! I bet they love that. Aw, twin I absolutely love that. There was only so much headway I'd be able to make on my own.
で、首は調べていいんだな。
Huh? Sasasuka raised his voice again, irritated. I sat there, not understanding the question.
その首輪の向こうにいるやつ。調べるのは自由にって言ってたよな。
One's a daddy's girl, she hands me tools, all the wrong ones, while I work on on your project car. I love that! Aww. Those are gonna be the best memories. She's gonna remember working with her daddy on the car. She's gonna remember doing all of that with you. Hey, Artsy! How's it going? She gave you a hammer. Aww. Exactly. She'll figure it out and be an expert.
いやでもまずくね。あっち
So
の
far,
不利益になるようなら
so good.
殺すみたいなこと言ってたし。
Just enjoying. Oh man, there's. Let's see. Maybe I make myself a tiny bit smaller. So that way you guys can still see me, but you can hopefully see all the dialogue and the faces. Cool. Yay! I just don't want to have to keep moving everything around all the time as best I can. I'm glad you're doing well. You work mainly on classic cars. You tried a Prius one time and gave yourself high blood pressure. Oh no! Exactly. I agree, Ice. Adonis is being rude. Doo-da, doo-da. Good thing they're on the other side. Oh, doo-da day. Oh, my light went out. Hold on. I can fix this. Alright, so what we need to do is bring this around. It was not me throwing the light this time. It was just the battery dying. Okay. The lights are out, but somebody's home. Exactly. Alright. Follow. Oh, drop the cord. Hold on. We're gonna make this work. We're gonna make this work, guys. I promise. There we go. Alright. Perfect. You sit like that, and there we go. Alright. A Prius has so many wires and sensors and the manual makes no sense. Exactly! Mechanics are not cheap. I completely agree. You somehow disabled the emotes and fixed it! Woo! Working on cars will cut you up, make you swear, and make you broke all at the same time. Exactly! Exactly!
無理に外そうとしたら殺す。でも調べるのは自由にしろ。バカにはこの違いわかんねえだろ。
つまりどういうこと？
調べられるもんなら調べてみろってことだ。
Right? Sounds like working on crafting projects. Right? Exactly. What do you have planned today,
さすがに
Artsy?
リスクが高すぎる。相手の判断基準もつかめないうちから無茶はするべきじゃない。
何もクラッキングするわけじゃねえよ。首輪
Oh, I know what I can do.
種類を調べるくらいできる。
There! That's the perfect spot because it'll be right where you can still see their face if they're there, but you can still see the dialogue as well. There. You were like righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and I said I wasn't asking and you can't be You can't be stuck if you're a liquid. It was like you were talking to a bolt like it was a person. I love it. You hauled another load of branches to the dump. You're gonna go grab something to eat. What are you feeling like eating today? Is someone in the orchestra having a problem? The piano sounds a little wavy. Used a blowtorch to get it out of the way. I mean, maybe. They might have done something with the... They might be using a keyboard and just getting a different sound. Some frozen fries in the freezer. Nice! I love it.
どれだけ大層な防御なのかも知っておいて損はないしな。
I wasn't able to keep up with this conversation at all.
柳さん、やりたくないならやらない。事件の捜査に戻るだけだ。
星野、笹塚の腕は信用できる。任せてみる気はないか。
You spent 4 years looking for period-accurate tail fins from the 50s? Nice! Were you able to... Did you eventually find it? Alrighty, sounds good. I'm excited to see what you come up with for Trizrith. My bard D&D character, or my D&D bard character. There we go. It's not dangerous, is it?
犯人の目的はお前を殺すことじゃない。
Ooh, you finished up the 56 Chevy Bel Air convertible. Nice! I don't like this idea, but my guy can handle this, alright? Exactly. That's exactly what he's saying. Yes.
その相手が調べるのは自由にしろと言った。笹塚。
Ooh, cherry
たどられない自
red.
信があるんだ。
That is a beautiful color. Especially on a Bel Air. Of course, I'd have it no other way.
なら、大まかな構造だけでも知っておけば、今後対処しやすくはなると思う。
Yanagi was persuasive. They could kill me whenever they felt like it, so there had to be a reason they hadn't yet. That was a weakness we could exploit.
危険がゼロとは言えない。怖ければ無理にやらなくていい。
自分で決めろ。10秒待ってやる。
I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to decide between life or death. But the thing is, streamer, this necklace is what they're using to basically talk to them. They have built-in countermeasures. The bad guys have built-in countermeasures to be able to basically track where Ichika, our main character, is. And if she doesn't do things the way they want her to, she can die. Those white wall tires cost you $572 each? Wow. Ooh, how long have you been studying Japanese, Ice? Are they gonna force me or not? 10 seconds? What's wrong with this guy?
それ以上待たせたら俺が決める。
There was poison in the collar. I haven't been able to relax since it was put on. I don't know when I'll be killed. If that's the case... Please do it, Sasazuka. And... please don't provoke them. You like your cars to be period accurate down to the last detail. I love it! Are there any car shows that you could take these cars to when you're done? For a few years, but you've only been learning casually. Gotcha! I had no idea how he would examine it. I didn't know anything about his skills. But I thought it was the right call because Yanagi said we'd be collaborating from now on. Yup, that's no normal necklace. That's a lethal electronic necklace that's broadcasting the entire conversation to a terrorist organization. Yup.
遅えな。とっくに10秒過ぎてる。
Gib slap.
お前が待ってやるとか珍しい。
You show them off at shows, but your intent is to sell them at auction or on commission. Nice! I hope that all works out.
さすがに人命かかってるからね。
笹塚、頼む。
了解。
While Sasazuka was fiddling with his computer, I couldn't move a millimeter. Would the final sting of poison or of pain come? Would the collar miraculously fall free? With a grunt, Sasazuka stopped typing, and the clacking of the keyboard ceased. It messes with you come tax season because technically you're your own boss. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense because you'd have to basically report that as well as your income for the fire department. That makes sense. That would be a lot.
どうだ？
大体わかった。
乾杯ってことか。笹塚くんでも太刀打ちできないんじゃ相当レベルが高いってことだね。
マジかよ。おいタケル、全く成果なしなのか。
うるせえな。大体わかったって言っただろ。
So which is it?
笹塚くんが曖昧な言い方をするのは悔しいから。
You're like, I want to do these myself to save money, but this makes me confused, and if I mess this up, the scary auditors will show up. Have you tried, let's see, there's TurboTax, QuickBooks, things like that might be able to help you. Hey, Vocal Duck, how you doing? So this game is Collar X Malice, and essentially we are a policewoman named Ichika trying to solve... Oh, H&R Block. Okay, that works. We're a policewoman trying to basically find people that are terrorizing Japan, or a town in Japan. Trying to basically purify Japan. Using some rather interesting means. And so now they're tracking her through a necklace. And these guys are mostly former police. The guy right above me, he works currently for the police in their investigations division, if I remember correctly. And they're all working to solve the same case. But the necklace basically could kill her. Right? That's one way to put it. Yeah, there's a lot of unaliving in this game. Japanese games have some of the best stories, but sometimes they're weird. Like, look at any Kojima game. I've never played a Kojima game. What are some of your favorite Kojima games?
レベルは高い。壊す覚悟なら侵入くらいできるが、それやったらそいつが死ぬ。
Yeah, so far it's really, really fun. It's really fun. This guy, Sasazuka, he worked in the cyber division of the police department. And he, as you can see, is a computer whiz. And he's trying to figure out kind of what are they facing as far as what this collar has. security
簡
wise.
単には突破できないセキュリティだって分かっただけでも十分成果なんじゃない？
そうだな。
They made most of the Metal Gear Solid games, but look at Death Stranding, the apocalyptic mailman walking simulator. Okay. Okay, I've heard of Death Stranding. I've heard of that game. I've never played it, but I've heard of it. Okay, that kind of gives me a picture of what Kojima looks like.
もう一つ監視カメラはついてない。
Oh, that's good. No camera. No camera, you guys.
ほう、十分な成果じゃん。さすがは天才ハッカーのタケルくん。
お前のパソコンの中身流出させるぞ。
Great game, but very divisive. Story's great, but very weird. Gotcha.
やめてください。それだけは絶対にやめてください。
I don't get all of it, but the caller didn't react to whatever he tried. I wouldn't die from anything that he did. I could take some relief from that at least. Still, even a programmer as skilled as Sasuzuka was unable to gain or to glean any valuable information. So it won't come off easily.
そう悲観するな。その首輪が X デー事件に関係しているなら今後手がかりも出てくるはずだ。
Oh, that makes sense. It's about reconnecting America, so it makes sense that because the intended audience isn't American, that would be a little weird and divisive. Okay. Gotcha. I nodded in response to Yanagi's concern.
おい、携帯貸せ。
I didn't notice Sasuzuka had gotten so close, and I jumped at hearing his voice so near. Huh? My phone?
お前以外に誰がいるんだよ。早く貸せ。
Really? It's based off of Iceland? That is so interesting. Like, I've only ever just heard the name. I never really dove into, like, what it's about. Why?
貸してあげた方がいいよ。笹塚君、そろそろ切れそうだから。
In confusion, I looked pleadingly to Yanagi, and he just nodded in resignation. Ooh, a lot of big-name people in it? Like
お前
who?
は新宿園で眠らされていただろう。その間に犯人が何か仕掛けた可能性はある。
Guillermo del Toro. I quickly took out my phone. Sasuzuka immediately snatched it away. Hey!
一から根節丁寧に説明しないと何もわかんねえのかよ。めんどくせえ。
Oh, a horror mastermind. With that, he took my phone and went back to his desk. He worked on Silent Hill. Okay. On the Silent Hill style game PT. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I remember watching a Silent Hill based video with one of my favorite voice actors in it. And I was like, that was kind of borderline too horror-y for me. Like, I don't do horror very much. Soul, though, she showed me this movie. Was it A Quiet Place? Is that what the name of it was? The one with the bad guys. Cool, got the name right. And it was the one with the bad guys that would essentially, like, find you by sound. And so you had to be quiet the entire time and use sign language. And so Soul showed me that one, and that one was really good. Then there's Troy Baker. Troy Baker! Excalibur! Excalibur. From the United K, I'm looking for heaven. I'm going to California. Although, why are we trying to find heaven in California? Why? I may be a little on the slow side, but none of these people tell me anything. Oh, Mads Mikkelsen. He was in Casino Royale, right? Portal 2's on sale for $1? Do it! Do it! Especially Sazazuka, but the others obviously knew what he wanted, so I probably just wasn't following him. I stifled my protests and sat quietly, watching Sazazuka go to work.
穴だらけのセキュリティだな。
With that brief comment, Sazazuka tossed my phone back to me. I looked at the screen and saw that a sketchy-looking app had been installed on my phone. Oh, Norman Reedus of Walking Dead fame. Okay. I've heard of Walking Dead. I'm pretty sure one of my acquaintances worked on the behind the scenes. Oh, is he the guy that makes all the Carl jokes on all the Carl memes? The city was trying to get everyone's power back on. No worries, no worries. Yeah, I can definitely understand getting tired of the horror ads. A little bit. A little bit. We're definitely a little bit talking about Death Stranding, because I had asked for an example of a certain type of game, and that was the example given. I don't know what he did, but he blocked the phone tap they were using for interception, I think. Carl, or Coral, is Rick Grimes, his dad, or Andrew Lincoln, which is the actor. Oh, okay, gotcha, gotcha.
"眠らされてる間にいじられてなくても遠隔でデータ抜くなんて簡単にできる。もっと自覚しろ。
Norman is Daryl, the crossbow guy. Oh, okay, gotcha. He was correct, but he was being such a meanie that I just couldn't accept what he said.
やり方は乱暴だが腕は確かだ。今は多めに見てやってくれ。
Yanagi's words did nothing to reassure me. I only felt more uneasy around this group. Very cool. Is horror one of your go-to genres?
じゃあ俺はこれまで通り8月の捜査を続ける。事件の捜査は犯人からの要求でもあるしな。
Is everybody here investigating the X-Day incidents? But how?
うるせえな。ちょっとは自分で考えろ、バカ猫。
Gib slap! He blocked the phone tap so they wouldn't listen in. Bad guy later. What the? App's not working. Ah! You can watch horror stuff and you can watch stuff Saw and not stuff like Saw and not flinch, and you fall asleep listening to scary stories. Does it ever give you nightmares? Or are you just kind of so used to it that you're like, your brain is just like, ah, this is what I need to fall asleep. What the heck was that for?
そうやってムキになる姿は毛を逆立てた猫みたいだけどね。
ついに猫呼ばわりかよ。
You don't dream at all your day job is the true nightmare? Saw is one of the few movies you like as someone who generally isn't a movie lover. Oh, are you more a TV show fan? They're not listening to me at all. To investigate the case on their own, they all must have considerable skills. But I don't feel any concern for me or any sense of cooperation from them. Maybe it's because they suspect me, but I really just want to know what's happening. When I shot a pleading look at Yanagi, he sighed.
それぞれ調べている事件は違うが、個々に X デイ事件を調べてはいた。俺は事件全体を捜査している。
You don't really go to the movies anymore. You got a jailbroken Fire Stick so you can watch literally anything. That is so cool! Mainly stuff like cooking shows and game shows and whatnot. Nice! In the original book of The Shining, the malevolent force controlling the hotel was represented by a hornet's nest Jack gave to his son. Oh, gotcha. Doctor! Oh my gosh! Raid the Donna! You guys, if you need encouragement, if you need prayer, if you want some worship music, Phelan, you rock, you've resubbed with Prime. Whoa! 7 months in a row. Maybe. I'm terrible at coming up with all this stuff, but Phelan, thank you so much for the resub. You are amazing. You guys, STL, or as I call him, Doctor, is an amazing family-friendly Christian variety streamer, and he does a wide variety of games from Power Wash Simulator to SAR to anything he feels like playing in the moment. And you guys definitely need to check him out and be encouraged. Save the raid! Stephen King is weird sometimes. Yeah, definitely. But you mainly watch video game guides and Let's Plays. Nice! Do you like Markiplier? Yeah, Steve Harvey is definitely the best host. You're definitely the definition of variety streamer. How's the unpacking going? We prayed for you that you get all of that unpacked and everything like that. You streamed ages ago but swore too much. That makes, yeah.
榎本は4月と5月。
I mean, personally I choose not to swear, but I hold no judgment against those who do.
9月と10月。
Absolutely not, because I'm a firm believer I cannot hold people to that same standard. And so I'm not offended by it. Oh, hydrate from Vocal Duck. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go to BRB real quick. I need to refill my water glass. Unless, is there just enough? I gotta drop. I got a drop of my strawberry lemonade water. You're a very competitive gamer, and when you get angry, lots of 4-letter words come out. That makes sense. That makes sense. He's okay. Don't watch him too much nowadays. He yells too much. That makes sense, yeah. Some of it is that, but also just the games that he chooses to play are not exactly my cup of tea. So, I will be right back. I'm gonna go grab a tiny bit of water and then get that hydrate redeemed. Alright, let's get caught up on chat here. You're very competitive in general, mainly because you're an athlete. That makes sense. He does tell interesting stories when he rambles, though, and Jacksepticeye is actually friends with Troy Baker? That's cool. Yeah, calmness is definitely something you want in a Let's Play. There you go, Vocal Duck. September and October? I thought the September suspect died and nothing actually happened in October, did it?
カウントダウンと言っておきながら10月だけ何も起こさないなんてありえる？俺はどうもそこが気になるんだよね。
There were suspicions about that very thing, even at the station. A countdown video was issued for October, but no relevant incidents had been reported. But you have to work on the cases that you've been assigned by the police department, don't you? You're the hype man of your friend group. I love it! Alrighty, Doctor! You lurkety-lurk, have some lunch, and then enjoy helping get the other house unpacked. And you keep being amazing! You keep being amazing, my friend. Thank you so much for the raid, and enjoy your lurkety-lurk! And your foods. Food is love, food is life.
仕事はきちんとこなしてるよ。与えられた仕事はね。ここだと誰に縛られるわけでもないし、俺なりに操作できるからね。
Ah, you're the quiet person in your friend group. I am the definite extrovert of my friend group. Are you really allowed to do that as a police employee?
だから言ったでしょ。ここでの俺は警察職員じゃなくて柳くんたちの大事なメンバーなんだよ。
大事なはやめろ。気色悪い。
I love that. I love that. Every group needs a friend who can crack jokes and be the hype man as well. It really is. It really is.
釣れないな。
I don't understand what's happening here. I had many more questions, but it felt like I wouldn't get anything from Shiraishi. He would definitely just give me some kind of flippant response or spout sophisms. Anyway, I must solve the problem I've been given. To sum everything up I've learned so far, the culprits who attacked me were undoubtedly related to X-Day. Those criminals were aware that Yanagi's group of ex-officers was investigating X-Day. On top of that, they were pushed into a course of action that possibly led me to join them. The criminals claimed that this group that was investigating the case had the same ideals as the criminals. But still, that doesn't explain Shiraishi, who's still employed by the police. He said that he discovered the first letter and took it to Yanagi. I couldn't imagine that he just did that of his own volition. Volition, one of my favorite words. It would have been easy for Shiraishi to plant the letter in this office. Exactly. And there are times where you just need to be by yourself, be chill and calm, and do your thing, you know? Thank you, Phelan! And yeah, there are people that are more independent and just able to take that time to be by themselves and enjoy it. I'm just one of those that needs to be around people. I am very much I can be up in my room for a little while, but eventually if I'm not like talking with chat, or if I'm you know, just if I'm just sitting here by myself and not talking to anybody, I'm like, all right, it's been an hour. I need to go. It's been it's like it's been an hour or two. I need to get up, move around, talk to people. Volition used to be a game studio until the Saints Row reboot killed the studio. Interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and snooze this ad break for 5 minutes. Oh, it's okay. Is everything starting to dwindle as far as the stress? Yeah, dear Lord, right now we just bring Phelan before you. I pray that you just help him be able to balance everything, that he's able to just enjoy life and not be as stressed. Help him to do well in his college courses and get his degree in a timely manner, and just be with him and let him feel your peace, your love, your presence. In your name I pray. Amen. It's all sorted now, but it was really stressful lately. A lot of things came onto you. Aww. I'm sorry, Phelan. I'm just a message away if you ever need to talk. You're always stressed. It's a wonder, combined with your coffee intake, that you're still healthy. Oh my gosh. Anytime. Shiraishi burst into laughter when he saw me looking at him with narrowed eyes.
君ってわかりやすいよね。俺が犯人なんじゃないかって疑ってるでしょ。
Guilty as charged. Well, that's what I get for trying to hide it. Might as well. I was a little scared, but I screwed up my courage and just said what I was thinking. 5 to 6 a shift? Wow. I do 1 or 2 a day. And I'm like, I'm somehow able to manage to make it through. 400 milligrams of coffee? Dang! Shiraishi, you're obviously taking an awful lot of pleasure in my reactions. Why wouldn't I be suspicious of you?
そうだね。俺が犯人なら、このポケットに隠してるスイッチを押して、今すぐ君を毒殺できちゃうかもしれない。
Ah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I saw Shiraishi's eyes narrow and I instinctively flinched.
白石、星野で遊ぶのはよせ。こいつはお前のおもちゃじゃない。
Gliding on phone lines! That is such a cool username! I love that! How are you? Thank you so much for the follow. And how did you find the channel? Don't get much sleep there after all. We are the city that never sleeps. That makes sense. That makes sense.
そう言われて
I
も
hope you're able to at least get enough rest on your days off. And that makes sense why you would need so much caffeine in that case. He's just screwing with me. Messing with me. I was done letting this jerk rile me up. I shot a hostile glance towards Yanagi, who spoke very deliberately.
今俺たちが話せる情報はこれくらいだ。捜査は続けるし、今回のことも調べる。
Yeah, that makes
お前はどう
sense.
する？
That makes sense. Everyone turned to look at me. In order to remove the collar, the best course seems to be discovering the truth behind X Day. And we can't even tell the police. What can I possibly contribute to the investigation of this difficult case? Adding to my burden of self-doubt, the men gathered before me had all been researching the X Day cases from the start. It was like a well-organized production. Oh man, do they typically respect that?
犯人がお前に接触してくる可能性もないとは言い切れない。なるべくなら行動を共にした方が。
Yanagi's sentence was immediately interrupted by the window abruptly opening.
あ、お客さん、珍しい。
Huh? What the? This is the 5th floor! How did he get in here? Who is that?
またかよ。
不法侵入で訴えるぞ。
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, 5-year-old's gonna 5-year-old. In my surprise, I hastily hid my collar, but this seemed to be a familiar occurrence to the others, and they didn't react much. Huh?
驚かせてごめんね。
Oh, I love that. I gasped when I saw what the man who had climbed onto the room was wearing. He's wearing police and SP badges. Is this man part of your team? Surprisingly, Shiraishi's route turned out being your second favorite route, hands down. You might not end up having the same reaction to it as me and our mutual friend, but if nothing else, I think you'll enjoy being officially inducted into the Shiraishi Hate Club. I'm excited for it. In response to my question, everyone else in the room made complicated expressions.
ね、お客さんなら出直そうか？
Right, Mountain? Right? Like, come on, let Dad sleep.
そうしてくれるとありがたい。あと、いつも言っているが、来るなら扉から入ってきてくれ。
だって閉まってるし、いつも入れてくれないから。
Maybe there's a reason for that.
とにかく、今日は帰れ。
はーい。
He smiled and used the door to exit the premises instead of the window.
毎度のことだけど、油断も隙もねえな。
Aww,
寝室気
I
ま
bet
ずす
they
ぎる
listen to that. Every kid loves
出
ice
て行っ
cream.
たんだろうな。
While Sazuzuka left the room to check, Yanagi spoke.
あの男は X デイ事件を捜査中の俺たちを守るという任務についている。警視庁警備部警護課の岡崎圭だ。
Huh? Covering you? The police are giving you protection while you freelance?
岡崎くんはそう言っていたけど、本当のところはどうなんだろうね。
You snore like a freight train. Oh man.
どういう理由で SP を俺たちにつけているのか、警察の意図は分かっていない。
I see. HQ's Security Police Division, or SP for short. Normally, their job was to protect VIPs and endangered individuals. Do the police have a reason to protect them?
そういった事情があるからな。岡崎圭には今回の件を気づかれるわけにはいかない。首輪のことがバレたら確実に面倒だ。
Oh, it's one of those situations, huh?
説明するわけにもいかないしな。
One of those ones where you're like constantly fighting for the blanket. Okay. Yup, time for a bigger blanket. He didn't seem that sharp to me, but you can't judge a book by its cover. Entering by the window was pretty suspicious. One can never be too cautious.
それで、さっきの質問の答えは
Oh, I want to get this collar off immediately. We need to investigate X-Day to do that. Since I couldn't report this to the police, it was obviously better to have assistance. Still, can I really trust this lot? Was it really the right call to collude with them despite being a police officer? Honestly, I was hesitant. could I have a little bit of time to think about it?
わかった。すぐに結論を出せと言われても、状況が状況なだけに難しいだろう。
Oh, you're a personal space heater in the winter?
知り合ったばかりの俺たちと協力する気
I
になれ
wish
ない
I
かもし
was.
れ
In
ない
the winter, I'm like, Yet another quarter goes into the jar labeled number of times someone complimented me on my username. I'll need to drop these off at the Coinstar kiosk at my local Walmart very soon. You're doing relatively well. I'm doing well. We're enjoying solving this mystery. And then Tuesday we'll be doing some Hogwarts Legacy. So that'll be fun. And then gonna play some D&D later today, and it's gonna be awesome.
俺はお前を死なせたくない。元ではあるが、警察時代から掲げてきた信念だけはケースにあるからな。
There was a strong fire in Yanagi's eyes, and it drew me in. Maybe I had a good impression of him since he was the first to help when I'd been poisoned. I am a level 6 rogue in that particular campaign, and in a different campaign, I am a level 2.5 bard. Oh my gosh! That's amazing, Mountain. I wish I was able to do that. I want to trust him after all. Thank you. A lot has happened, so I'm really confused. But I'll collect myself and think about it.
な。
つーかひとまずさ、連絡は取れるようにした方がいいよな。
Right. In case I needed to contact anybody, I exchanged phone numbers with everyone. Well then, I'll be back at night. Alright, that seems like a good spot. We're gonna go ahead and save. I am getting super hungry, and so it is time for me to go ahead and wrap up here and call it good for the day. And let's see who all we have. Oh, it was through a raiding party that you're now very glad to have been a member of. Nice! Were you with Bayo or were you with STL? In Baldur's Gate 3, you picked Paladin of Vengeance. He's all about justice, but he's a Dark Urge character too. Ah. Of course! I am so excited to continue this. I'm so excited to let you guys enjoy this adventure with me. And we'll see kind of how it goes from here. I may make this a YouTube-specific game. Or this may be one that I decide to stream every so often and just let you guys enjoy the adventure. So just in case, do I have? I do not. Alright, well, let me just do this. Alright, I'm not wanting to open this up in a new tab because... Okay, there we go. I'm actually in the Taco Discord group. Happy Saturday, Vocal Duck. Hope you have an awesome day. So this is my YouTube channel. I will make an exclamation point YouTube command before next stream. Let's see who we have to raid to. Oh my gosh, I know exactly who we're raiding to. We're gonna raid to IB Fatbeard. If you are subbed, this is your command. If you are not subbed, here is your command. we're gonna raid IB Fatbeard. He is playing some Sea of Thieves. He and his wife are fantastic, family-friendly variety streamers. And so I am so excited to spread the love to them. You guys, I'm so glad that you're here too. I'm so glad you're here too, gliding on phone lines. She does not. But they're playing some Sea of Thieves, and we're going to get this started before the raid, or before the ads start. You guys have a fantastic day. I love you. God loves you. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you guys on Tuesday.